athletes do dumbass things if it improves their performance.
Back in 2006, there was this viral trend where female shot putters were doing a one-handed cartwheel before releasing the ball. And while this new technique started at the high school level, it quickly made its way up to the collegiate level, and it even appeared on the professional circuits in Europe. Now, there were some online message boards back then where some coaches were claiming that it was adding 4 to 6 feet to some of their athletes' throw. So you gotta ask, if it was so good, why don't we see this technique being used anymore? Well, for starters, let's look at the fundamentals of shot put. While standing inside of a circle, it's who can shot or throw a heavy ball which is the put the furthest. Now, it's hard to quantify when shot put actually started because the idea of who can throw the furthest, it's kind of always been a simple way to measure strength and skill. But the first evidence of stone or weighted throwing events were in the Scottish Highlands, and that dates back to the 1st century. And the modern shot put that we have today is likely a resemblance of the old military competitions where soldiers would hurl cannonballs as far as they could. So as you can imagine, over the years, there have been many innovations in form and technique because athletes are always going to find ways to try to improve their performance. For example, the original technique, which is often still the way young athletes are first taught, is called the side shuffle technique, where most of their propulsion and force comes from the arm. But then in 1951, Perry O'Brien invented a new technique called the step back technique, and it later became known as the glide technique. Now with the glide, the athlete isometrically preloads their muscles while facing backwards and then rotates 180 degrees across the circle to toss a shot. And this helps increase the length of the path that the ball can accelerate. Then in the 1970s, Alexander Baryshnikov began using the spin technique, which is where the athlete begins facing the rear of the circle and then rotates around on the ball of one foot while the swinging extended leg is quickly brought in tight to generate high rotational speed. Similar to how a figure skater spins faster when they bring their arms in tight, while the cartwheel will also generate rotational momentum, as once the legs whip down, the athlete's upper body can't help but rotate up and around. But this wasn't for everyone, as flexibility is critical to being able to do a cartwheel in the small little area of the shot put circle, which is why it was mainly being adopted by females and younger athletes. And the technical rules back then only stated that the ball in the hand could not drop below or behind the line of the shoulders. But some argued that there was room for interpretation on how this would apply when you're inverted. And this became an issue because there was a lot of confusion on whether or not it was against the rules. And so it would vary from competition to competition to whether using this technique would be considered a legal attempt. And the other main reason for that were the safety concerns that competitors would land on their head while unsuccessfully executing the cartwheel. So after 2 years, in 2008, track and field's world governing body IAAF, which is now World Athletics, they took a similar action as they did with the somersault long jump technique and the spinning javelin technique, and they amended the shot put rules to specifically state cartwheeling techniques are not permitted. So what do you think? Should they have banned the cartwheeling shot put technique, or is this potentially a better way to throw further? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and be sure to check out my whole series on different banned techniques in track and field. Thanks for watching.